Hello. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome you to a candid conversation for your edification.
We are a group of people who have discovered that honesty and authenticity reside at the core of how we navigate through life.
We use our experiences and perspectives to consistently and intentionally build each other up.
We speak life and we speak truth.
We honor the capacity within ourselves, within each other, and within all of you.
We honor the journey and we honor the growth.
Join us as we speak candidly,
as we speak truth to power
and to the process.
And we promise that you will leave this experience
more full,
more uplifted,
and more edified.
We are back with another episode of A Candid Conversation for your edification. We are still here in our WAP series, Watch and Pray Part 2. So if you haven't seen it already, go back to Part 1 and go watch that or listen to it before you dial into this one. But one of the things I wanted to address very quickly is, yes, we are convening on Zoom again, just for safety purposes. You know, COVID is still running rapid in these streets, and we want to make sure that we keep our loved ones safe during this pandemic. Okay, so let's get into it. Today, we are going to revisit the theme of watch and pray from our previous episode. So this time, we're really going to talk about it through a lens of relationships. And you know what month this is, y'all? You know, right? It's Valentine's Day. So everybody got love on the mind and on the brain. And you know what? As young adults, you know, it's always at the top of our minds, especially as we're single or we're getting into relationships, as we're navigating through life and wanting to do life with a partner, right? And so it's always constantly on our hearts and minds and in our conversations with others. So many of us are seeking those meaningful, long-lasting relationships with someone special, finding our soulmate, finding the person that our soul is tethered to. So we all want to feel love. We want to feel respected, cared for, protected, uplifted, and you know what? Edified. But as we navigate through our lives, careers, environments, and identities, the search for what love proves to be is exhausting and sometimes can be disheartening, right? So how do we find it? You know, and if we do find it, which one is the right choice? You know, we go on all these dates, we meet these people, and how do we know who's the one, who's not the one, who's really meant for my soul, right? So thankfully today, our guests will be sharing their own story of how they navigated through their journey and found each other. Precious and Leon, thank you so much for joining us. And for our viewers who are not familiar with who you are, would you mind telling them a little bit about yourselves?
Hey, Lydia. First of all, thanks for having us on. We're happy to be here and happy to be a part of your show. So my name is Leon Whitener. I am a captain with the St. Louis Fire Department. I'm the Community Risk Reduction Officer for the Fire Department. So what that looks like is that my job is related to the community. I spend a lot of time in the schools educating the kids on fire safety. I spend a lot of time in Cardinal Glennon. I'm a board member of Safe Kids Worldwide, and it's the same thing. You know, it's all about risk reduction and in the homes and in schools and whatnot. I'm also a literacy mentor in the St. Louis Public Schools. I'm a certified health coach for with the American Association of Christian Counselors, and I'm a track coach, and that's how I met Miss Precious Simone, coaching track.
So for those who don't know me, brand name Precious Simone. My name is Precious Smith. I am an author, a transformational speaker, a coach as well, a certified life purpose coach, as well as a track coach, like he says, where I met him. I spend a lot of time motivating the masses, if you will, inspiring, encouraging, and uplifting people to become the better and the best version of themselves. I love all things development, all things growth, all things becoming just who you have been called and created to be. In my professional world, I am in nonprofit leadership. And so, yes, that's a little bit about me.
A little bit, girl, you do a lot.
She wears a lot of hats. My baby wears a lot of hats.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like the one she wearing. She stay with a hat, right?
Yeah.
Always loving it. Look, I
my 90s look going on today.
What'd you say?
My 90s look going on today.
I like it. Looking like Brandy over here. So I want you guys to tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about how you guys met. I want to hear that story. They want to hear it.
So in 2017, so I had been coaching the age group, and if anybody knows anything about AAU, which is Athletic Amateur Union, so we spent a lot of time during the summertime coaching our kids in track and field. So I was the only coach in the 9-10 department, And so it comes March of 2017. They're like, we got somebody who's going to become helping coach. I was like, oh, snap. Cool. So they're like, you got to come meet him. He down there on the field. So I go down there and I meet him like, what's up? I'm Precious. Yeah. We shake hands. And that's how we meet, really. We met on the track by the high jump pit. By the high jump pit.
Like I say, giving back to the community is what brought us together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's so funny. So the last, I tuned into your live, right? And one of the things that you mentioned, Precious, was that you would always kind of like run away from love. Talk about the irony of how running brought y'all together.
That's good. That's good, Lydia. I like that.
My mama said, baby, you tie your shoes up tight real hard and run. And I do. And the reason I will be fully transparent as to why I ran from love is because love hurt at some point.
Yeah.
And what I thought was love, it disappointed. And here's the deal. Life is going to disappoint us. But for me, it felt like I'm the type of person, if I love hard. I'm loyal. I'm committed. I'm faithful. Mm-hmm. And so when love does not reciprocate in that way or does something to bring a rift into the relationship, at that point, I was like, well, if love feels like that, I don't want it again. Yeah. If love is going to show up like that, I don't want it again. And so I put all these walls up around my heart. I put my heart in a big old case, duct taped it, put it in another box, duct taped it, put it in another box. So you're going to have to swim deep to get here. And that's just, it really was how it was. And so running from love only to run into love.
So what happened was I took her track shoes off and put some flip-flops on her so she could run. She could.
That was good, man. That was good. I like that. I like that.
She came around in flip-flops.
Precious and I had the great opportunity to really get to know each other on a personal level and a sisterly level, of course. And some of the things that we talk about as sisters is just, our journeys in love and finding partnerships and meaningful partnerships, because again, we are people that are in the community that want to do something. So when is it appropriate to give our time to someone else? What does that look like? How do you know who to want? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have all these things that we wanted to pray for. We think we know what God is, but it's just like, how did you know when you know? And what did you do during that time to prepare yourself to get ready for that?
First, Leon.
Whoever want to take it.
Go ahead, babe. I'll go after you.
Okay. So to prepare yourself for love, I mean, if we're talking about coming out of a divorce or a breakup, preparing yourself to love again. What does that look like? A lot of times we want to go back into another relationship. We want to jump right back into another relationship to medicate the pain from the past relationship. But we're going into a relationship scarred, broken, damaged. And now we're looking for this other person to heal us when we should never look for another person to heal us. We give that to God to take us through the healing process. Mm-hmm. So in your process of looking for love, if you know that you have still some things that you're dealing with, I would say it's just best to be alone. It's just best to be alone and work on yourself and allow God to heal you through through prayer, meditation, in His Word. And I know a lot of people don't like to wait; it's difficult. But when you meet that next person, it's going to be a much healthier relationship. Now, when you're in the waiting process, how do you know who to date and who to give your attention to? I put it like this, and I said it the other night on our live. For me, I'm a man of God, so I spend time in prayer. And like I said the other night, if you're going to pray for something, know what it looks like when it shows up, okay? So if you order a 50-inch television from Amazon and you open your door and there's a package sitting out there and it's this big, that's not your television. Even though it's sitting on your porch, that's not what you ordered. So when something came to me and it was not what I prayed for, I just quickly wrote it off. I didn't invest my time into it. There was no reason to, go on multiple dates. Because I was alone or had been alone. I just no, that's not it. I was not looking to have a sexual conquest because my purpose was bigger than that. Your purpose has to be bigger than your sexual desires. And you have to know when to mitigate those sexual desires, cut them off, and continue to move forward in your purpose. So even though women were very attractive, and I'm pretty sure that I could have gone and, fulfilled my sexual desires with them, my purpose was bigger than that. And I did not want to negate the promise that God had for me. Because like I say, when we're in the process of healing and refinement, every time we step out of God's will and we realize, well, that relationship didn't work. Then you got to step back into God's process again and it starts all over. So there's a, and I don't want to. I'm gonna let my baby talk for a minute, because I can really keep going with this. But that's part of the process. You have to know what it is you're looking for, and what you prayed for, and what it looks like when it shows up. So now, for me, that was part of the process. And I will say this as well. For the people out there, if you get your top 5, if you put in your top 5 list the things that you're looking for in a mate, make a list, your top 5 things that you're looking for in a mate. And if anything in your top five has anything to do with how they look, what they drive, how much money they work, how much money they make, where they live, start over. We're talking about a mate. We're not talking about someone to date for 30 days or 60 days. We're talking about somebody to do life with. So in your top 5, be attracted to the way they think. Be attracted to their virtue. Are they a good person? Totally a good person. How do they communicate with you? Do they honor you? Do they respect you? Those are the things that we need to be praying for and looking for in a mate, as opposed to, I want this dime piece, I want this hunk, I want him to drive this kind of car, because we're talking about somebody you have to do life decisions with, okay? So anything in your top 5 that has anything to do with anything externally, cut it off. Let's start over, because it's the intrinsic things that are going to hold your marriage and relationship together.
Okay.
So,
come on, babe. Lay it down. That's so good. That's so good.
Come on, Precious. Like, what you got to say?
Right. Talk about living up to that. No, so I couldn't agree more. And in addition to that, I would say in your waiting time, you are working on yourself. So many people are so ready to get to somebody and they don't even know who they are. You have to spend time knowing who you are. Know your non-negotiables. Know what you want, but more so what you need. And so a lot of people are just, I'm going here. Precious, the dating world is muddy. It's dirty out there. You don't understand. The waters are confused. No, you confused, because you wouldn't be all over the place then. You have got to work on yourself. And so during that time of waiting, I spent a lot of time working on Precious. Okay, Precious. And then people who came across my path, I told them, look, hey, I don't want to do any damage or any harm to you, because I don't know who you're going to. I'm not even ready for you, and you might not even be ready for me. And then on top of that, I knew my standards. And I'm not talking about those unrealistic standards that people have, but I know that I'm a woman of standard. Like he said, he's a man of God. I'm a woman of God. So anything else that's coming that has me negotiating my worth, negotiating my body, negotiating my standards, that can't be it. I have people say, well, Precious, you ain't gonna get picked like that because you want to be celibate. I'm like, dang, ain't nobody out here want to keep themselves. Everybody just out here just want it. And I get it. That's culture. If everybody want to test drive, I get it. But for me, I'm like, I cannot, I'm more than the bedroom, I'm more than my body, and I'm more than my looks. And because I know that, I can't just be stopped at the sheets. It's just not enough for me. I need somebody who can speak to my spirit, my soul. Like he said, I'm attracted to their mind. That's important to me. Sapiosexual. That's just, I'm attracted to a man who can think good and who can talk good, who's a leader. That's important to me. So anything that showed up counter to that doesn't mean anybody was bad. No, it's just that wasn't my pick. That wasn't what I needed. And so how did I know? Like you said, it showed up. My spirit agreed. It made sense. I didn't have to ask certain things. Certain stuff just already was there, and it resonated with my spirit and what I need and what I believe was promised to me. And so, while you're waiting, work on yourself so that you won't go out here broken and continue to perpetuate your brokenness to other people, as well as know, like he said, when it show up, it's going to make sense. It's going to be effortless, and it's going to fit like a glove.
And let me add to that as well. When you meet someone, there are some hormones that are generated when you come in contact with someone you're attracted to. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. These are the happy hormones. So you're like, oh my God, this person is so attractive. So you meet this person, and I'll say this is very key for us, we're not introducing sex at all until we get married. But for people who introduce sex early on in their relationship, when you introduce sex, the logical part of your brain begins to shut down, your reasoning. So now you're happy because you've met this person, and now you're having sex. So now logically you're not reasoning and you're not thinking. When those happy hormones start to go away, because now over the course of time, those happy hormones will decrease because the initial attraction is not the same. So now over the course of time, your reasoning starts to come back. And now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months into the relationship, now you're thinking, and you're like, well, this isn't working out. Like, he's not treating me the right way, or I don't like the way she does this, or, you know, he's making ghost moves on me now. Well, yeah, he's making ghost moves now because all those happy hormones that he had initially, now they're starting to go, and he wants to feel those happy hormones again. So now he's seeing someone else, or maybe now she's seeing someone else, because they're addicted to the chemicals that are generated when you initially meet somebody. So if you can keep from introducing sexual intimacy in your relationship, you're going to know what that person's value really is to you, and you're going to know what your value is to them.
Okay. Well, I like that. And I want to kind of stay on that note, especially as we're entering into the love season. And I have a few questions for you, but right after this quick break.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I am the owner of Lip Locked Cosmetics. Lip Locked is aimed to provide consistent products that prioritize lip health, lip moisture, and lip beauty. We exist to unlock your vibrant, healthy, and unapologetic self. Our core goals include be unapologetically you, make your impression, and healthy is beautiful. We offer all corners of lip care and make products that celebrate your right to be unapologetically yourself.
All right, everybody, we are back. Precious and Leon, thank you so much for sharing your stories and your feedback. I know people are feeling very edified at this point. I know I am. I'm over here like where is Boaz? Like, I need to sew. I need to fast, to pray.
Right.
And watch. I was like, wait a minute. But one of the things I want to talk about that you just touched on was about not having sex entering the relationship right now, but understanding that we are very carnal beings. There are hormones in us, and especially as adults who have been married or been in relationships that have experienced it. What do you guys do at this point in order to, one, stay committed to that vow, but also keep each other interested and, you know, making each other feel special and still having like romance there? Because again, you know, people want to feel loved.
Yeah. I mean, I do keep it together. As you can see, it's very important. All eyes on me. No, seriously, I think it's important that you keep your appearance up. I value appearance. I think appearance, is everything. Impression is everything. Everybody wants, anytime you put on anything, you're trying to impress yourself, somebody else, whatever. So it's important that I keep myself together. I think that's important. And he keeps himself together. We do hold hands, and we give little love taps on the hand. Yeah. As we have not kissed yet. No, we have not. Yeah. So right now we're so caught up in the making sure the emotional connection is there, the spiritual connection, the physical attraction is already there, but we continue to nurture that. And so what do? We read, we encourage each other a lot through text message or just on the phone, and uplift each other a lot. We go for walks. He takes me out on the dates. Yeah. And so we love that. Both of our love language is quality time and physical touch, and so we spend a lot of time doing that. And so we're close. Look, we always like on each other. I'm here, or vice versa. And so that just goes to show I want to be near you, and I'm connected to you. So this is how we keep it hot, without keeping it hot.
Well, like I said, so you know, when you talk about the romance aspect of it, you know, we're intimate with each other on a different level. We're intimate with each other spiritually. We're intimate with each other through our words. So there's no, you know, late night Netflix and chill on the couch, because I'm very much still a man and she's very much still a woman. And if we did not put up those guardrails, then we would be compromising, you know, our walk. And for the people out there who say, look, I couldn't do that, I got to test drive it. If there was something that was wrong with me that I think that she wouldn't be cool with, I would have full disclosure with her before we got married. Like, babe, you know, I got this little issue. I don't have that. We cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure she would do the same. Like, hey, babe, I got this little issue over here. You know, no, you have to have full disclosure to let somebody know what they're getting into prior to getting into it. So yeah, I mean, to keep it pure, like I say, we date outside of the house. We're not in the house. We keep everything outside. I don't go to her place. She doesn't come to mine. So that's how we keep it pure.
Do you find that challenging, or it makes you more innovative, especially now during COVID when certain things are shut down, where it's a little bit more limited than before?
Yeah, we've definitely been very creative. Hiking, again, I said walks, dates, driving.
Yeah, it's not obviously COVID's kind of COVID's kind of got things a little messed
up. Which I
can
appreciate because so many people fell apart. Their relationships fell apart during COVID. It showed what kind of communication they did or did not possess. It showed how close they really are with one another. So for us, I told them I think it's a blessing that we have COVID because it shows us how to be creative with one another, how to connect in a different way, and making sure we have something that's real beyond if all our time is barely with each other, then that's a problem. And because a lot of people, they didn't have time with each other. They were passing each other by in their homes. But we're together. We bowl. We joke on each other all the time. Right. So we know that we're gonna be hilarious, but it's just it's good. So it's not difficult. When I leave his presence, I don't want to be coming out of personally I'm not in the space where every time I leave his presence, I'm ready to come undone. Now, baby looking good. I'd be like, okay, babe, you look good. But I ain't getting home like, whoo, I can't wait. It's just he doesn't make me feel that way. And he doesn't make me feel like that.
I don't know how to take that. No, I'm joking, Lydia.
Okay. Like, wait
I'm joking.
Now,
I'm joking.
Like, what you got?
What I mean by it is not a lust-driven relationship. I've been in situations where I'm ready to come out quick.
Yeah. So
that's just not how I feel like.
So at the end of the day, when we talk about romance, when we're going into a relationship, what's the goal?
Yeah.
Is the goal just to fulfill those happy hormones and to date and to be in a relationship and have sex with someone and, do this, hang from the chandeliers? Is that the goal? Or is the goal marriage? Is the goal marriage?
I guess it's marriage with chandelier.
Right.
Some people out there like, I take the chandelier.
Right.
But that's all you're going to get.
That's all you're going to get.
Hang from the chandelier. Go home feeling lonely. I've done it the sheets way. I've done it that way already.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It's not enough, especially if they're not people of substance and they don't have no aspirations or desires to, like you said, what's the goal? It's like, okay, what are we doing here?
There has to be a goal. When you step into any relationship, what's the goal? What are we doing?
But that's about doing life in general. It's like, what is your goal? Are you walking through life aimlessly? Or are you walking in purpose in general? And every decision has to ladder up to that. So, I think what you guys are saying starts and ends with that, understanding purpose and going from there. Absolutely. And adding value to your life. We want assets and not liabilities in this season, right? Come on, we want generational wealth, perpetual wealth.
Right.
So
but just like you just said, if we're talking about purpose, if we're talking about people who can have purpose in other aspects of life, career and things of that nature, why do we enter relationships aimlessly when we have purpose in every other area of our life? So we also have to have purpose in our relationships.
Mm-hmm. So 2 questions. One, you, Precious, you mentioned in your live about being just authentic and just feeling free to be exactly who you are, not having to change, things like that. And so in this particular relationship, was that challenging, easy? Like how was this the one that you were just like, yep, hands down, I know I can do whatever I want. I can be as silly as goofy. I don't have to change myself. I don't have to come out of my clothes like you were saying before, like, because you knew him for a while. And what was that turning factor?
Yeah, so initially, when we finally had made the decision to come together, like I was just like, hold up though, like he was just looking at you as coach. Now he was looking at you as like in another way. So I was like, oh, that's kind of freaky. But then I was like, okay, so through these going on 4 years, it's like, well, I've always been free to really be precious. And so it's like, okay, well, now I'll get to show up and be precious and be all of myself. And so I start inserting more of my little love that I would naturally want to give to somebody. And he like grabbed on to it and received it. I was like, oh, that's okay. You like that. Okay, give a little bit more. Oh, this is safe. And so the more I tell them all the time, you pull me closer by my neck emotionally. You know how you want to, it's like, no, come here, girl, get over here. And so I start inserting more of my romantic side or loving side. And it's like, he soaked it up. Oh, man. I'm like, oh, you like that, And so how I always wanted to express myself or how I enjoy expressing myself. I know what I can be to a male, if that makes sense. You know what you bring. You know what you can give. You know how you build up. You know how you support. You know how you pour out as a woman. You know what you bring, vice versa as the male. And so I was like, okay, give more. And so there were times I was like, dang. So it gets overwhelming knowing that he's okay with it. And I'm like, hold up. Oh, this is not Coach Leon no more. This is my man.
Yeah.
And so I was going through this back and forth experience, but it's the safety and the security and him telling me every day that I'm covered, that, you know, he got me. He'll never neglect that. It helped me like go from to like, wow, this is okay. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. And the more he did that, the more I just show up my giddy self. Then I went from her to her to her to her to her, you know? I was like, happening to me. What's happening? And it was okay. He provided the safe place for my heart to continue to beat this way. Like, it's okay with Leon. It's okay. And it wasn't easy at first, but the more I continued he stayed safe, I kept letting him down. The box, it unraveled on his own. He didn't even have to swim in there to get it out. It was like, rise, unravel. So, yeah. That's how.
And it's easy when you have two people who know what they want, who know what they want. Like I said, when she came into my life, my slate was clean. I was not dating, because when I did go on dates, one date, I'm good. No reason enough for us to continue to talk. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't wasting a lot of time. You know, it's like,
Babe said bye.
And like, no.
Thank you.
You know, and the conversation just wasn't there. It just didn't make sense. Now, I could have filled, you know, I could have used them as void fillers. Like, hey, you know, I don't have anything going on. I'll date you for a little while. And then if she would have came along, then I would have had to get rid of people or still try to make up my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the kind of person, if I'm dating a woman and I know, you know, when you have somebody's full attention and when you don't, right? So if I'm dating a woman and I know she's trying to make her mind up, I make it up for her. I'm like, hey, you know what? Hey, you be happy. You go do what you want to do. And they're like, hey, no. I wasn't finished making up my mind. I say, no, you have. I'm done.
He don't play.
Play no game.
He don't play.
No. No. So, you know, and that's part of having purpose in your life. When you have purpose in your life, whether it's, you know, purpose, your different passions and different hobbies, you can use that to fill your times where you don't feel like you have to date. A person that doesn't have any hobbies or passions or interests, they try to fill that time with people. And that's part of the problem with the dating process, because a person has nothing else to do. So in my season of waiting, I've got a lot of things going on. I don't like, I'm not stagnant very often. Like, my days are like bam, 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 bam. I'm here, I'm there. I've got a lot going on. So I didn't have time to sit down and really be lonely. So that helped.
That's good. And the summer of 2020, I had several people reaching out to me. They want to fly me out of town. They want me to, you know, Lydia, I was sharing with you. They want me to fly me out of town, you know, abandon everything I have. I was like, hold on. That made me nervous. I was like, whoa. And then,
girl, I want you.
Yeah, I was like, it kind of scared me a little bit. Already a person that runs from love, and like, no, that did something to me. Or
I'm not
people wanted to take me out on dates. Like you said, I entertained conversation, of course. And so it was like, you know what? Hey, this person, you have good conversation. You don't have the best of conversation, but you should. Like, it was different people. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Like, it's just not enough for me to have all of these different things I love. I heard about a man, and it's like, but I'm dividing my energy, dividing my time, dividing going on dates. And I was like, no, it wasn't there. I knew inside that it wasn't it. And so you can either do what he said. You can be still and not have a clean slate, or sometimes you might be like, well, I'm gonna figure it out. But then it's like, you'd be like, no, none of them are it. And somebody was like, well, Precious, nobody's perfect. You trying to pick the perfect person. I was like,
it's not about perfection.
I'm not picking the perfect person. I know when it comes to doing life and longevity, I don't see that. I don't care how good that conversation is. I don't care how good. It ain't it. It ain't, oh, Precious, he tried this. Oh, he make this. Girl, he do this. I don't care. I don't care. I needed somebody to do life with and have purpose with and understood the assignment on my life as to how I was called as a woman of God. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Precious Simone with Precious Simone Inspires LLC, and I'm here to talk about some new things I got going on, y'all. We have my #1 new release, Whatever It Takes Evolve. You can purchase it on Amazon.com. Go ahead, get your copy, as well as my newest growth apparel here at Evolve on my website at www.precioussimone.com. Let's grow.
What I love about your story and something that, you shared, I think very early on. And I remember the day you were in your car and you called me. You were like, I don't know, something Emma just said, start praying. Back in August. The thing is, it's so crazy because I think a lot of times, again, we're busy people, we're busy women, but it's just like, when do we feel it's okay to open ourselves up to love? And I remember you sharing, like, I'm going to this singles or couples seminar or whatever. I don't know what it was.
Prayer challenge.
Yeah, that prayer challenge. And you were just like, I don't know. So my first lady just got off the phone and she was telling me that. I was like, oh, well, if she said do it.
I know, right? Lydia was like, well, God got some blessings for you, girl.
You better
it's about to happen.
But yeah, for those who don't know and didn't listen to the live, share about that and how intentional this was. And how quickly, when you obey, things
happen. You obey.
Hunted. the chips fall where they met. So in August of 2020, I'm strolling through my email and I received the email and it was called Pray for Your Future Spouse Challenge. So there's this couple who has this ministry where they really pretty much come together quarterly, I believe, and they pray with people for their future spouses. Like the way they met was through prayer. I think it was on whatever, however they met. That story is dynamic. And so since then, they have built a ministry through how they met.
Yeah, works together.
How they met together. And it's so powerful. And so when I saw it, I was like, whoa, I felt like this huge nudge to join the challenge. And I was like, then I feel like, oh man, I ain't prayed for my spouse in forever. And I was like, what does this mean? So I started scrolling through some of the stuff and it had like all these different testimonies attached to it. This woman, her man showed up in like 2 or 3 months. This man, his wife showed up in like 3 or 4 months, somebody a year. All that. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to show up that fast. I know, right? I'm going through it. So it was a Friday night in August, and I remember going to my friend's Airbnb. They were here from out of town, and I was overwhelmed with it. I was like, yeah, I just feel like I'm supposed to join this prayer challenge. My husband must be on the way. It was like, what's going on? Usually people are excited about it. I'm like, I know, but you got to think about it. I've been locked up. And so I have not been given my heart. So to know that God want me to give my heart again, I'm like, hold on, God, like what? And so they're like, girl, it's going to be okay. Just join the challenge. I'm like, all right. So I joined the challenge that night. The next day, it's a Saturday. I'm driving down a road here in St. Louis called Kings Highway. And while I'm driving down on my way to go grab me some food, I feel this huge nudge like I felt on Friday to start praying for my spouse. So I start covering him and his purpose and his walk and blah. Then I cover myself. And literally, y'all know, as soon as I said amen, Lydia, I told you, I said, as soon as I said amen, the phone rings. So my phone rings and it's my elder first lady. And she's like, daughter, you busy? I'm like, oh, I'm just going to grab some food. She was like, well, I'm not going to be long. I just want to tell you, I just had a vision of you in the spirit. I saw the gentleman in front of you guys. I saw you both very happy. I saw a ring. I saw you getting married. I saw y'all doing ministry together. I saw y'all traveling. She just saw so much. She was like, daughter, God says get ready. He's coming. He's coming looking for his wife. He's not looking for a girlfriend. This season, next season requires a covering. God is sending you a covering. I was just I'm boo-hooing because she doesn't know the nudge I get on Friday. Then she comes around Saturday and sees what I just committed to. Do you see what I'm saying? So I was like, whoa, wow. So everything about that word, it manifested. And it did come, the very thing I feared about him showing up months later, he showed up months later. Yeah. And she said, he's right in front of you. She said, he's right in front of you. And she told me to remove anybody who could be in the way because he couldn't connect himself with me if there was anybody there. Now, mind you, I had already started doing, hey, can't talk to you no more. But it was still certain relationships I've been friends with for a while. And then they finally started opening up and expressing themselves to me. And I was just like, oh, I don't feel that. You know what I mean? It was just, it was what it was. And I cared about people and I loved them, but I never had that unction to give myself to them in that way. And so I just started cleaning the house. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. I understand you wanted to see where we could go.
You were handing out slips?
I mean, left and right. I can show you the text. I was like, look, hey, thank God for you. Don't change. I understand you wanted to see what we could be. I don't see that. God is leading me in another direction. Hey, look, thank you. I mean, left and right. And they was like, no problem. And somebody said this was the nicest letdown I've ever received in my life. And so they just was thankful because they knew, I mean, I hadn't given myself to these people anyway. And so, yeah. So I joined the prayer challenge. I started praying for my spouse in August. He praying for his spouse in August, which he can share. But yeah, I was focused, and God said, okay, now it's time. So yeah.
So let me share this. There is a way to do things, and there's a way that we do things. You know, and a lot of times the way we do things is the way the culture kind of leads us to do things. So I went counterculture. Like I say, I've been saved since I was 25, and you know, bouncing in and out and trying to do things my way still. So actually, last year I started aligning myself up to just commit myself to God and commit myself to purpose. And like I say, doing a lot of community outreach and serving the community. So at the top of the year, made the declaration, hey, God, it's me and you. I'm going it alone. And I just told God, I said, look, if I'm going to, you know, serve you, I'm going to serve you from a place of purity. For full disclosure, pre-salvation, before I got saved, I was out there. So I experienced all of that. I was not trying to go back there. So after that, I'm like, you know, Lord, it's me and you. I don't have to dibble and dabble in that anymore. I already know what it is. So, you know, made the declaration, Lord, it's me and you. For full disclosure, God, that's not what I want. I want a wife, you know, because God's going to give you what you ask for. So I had to say, Lord, you know, if it's my calling to serve you from a place of purity, fortify me, strengthen me in my spirit, man, so that I can do so that I can come into the house of worship, not from a state of repentance, but I can walk into the house of worship and not be in a place of repentance because on Friday of what I was doing Friday and Saturday night. So, like I say, 2020, committed to God, just walking my walk, you know, went on a few dates, didn't last very long, never compromised my walk. It's like, no, this isn't it. And I could tell within the first, you know, maybe 20, 30 minutes of conversation, I was like, nah, this isn't it. So in July, one of the parents whose kids we coach, he's a pastor, Pastor Robert Hines. That July, that day, I was urged when I woke up in the morning to call him. Now, mind you, we're cool, but we don't talk often. So, but this particular day, it's like this real strong urge to call him. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to call him. Didn't know what it was about. So about 2:00, my phone rings. It's him. And I was like, wow, look at God. You know, I was urged to call him, but then God urged him to call me. So I said, hey, man, I told him how I was feeling that day about calling him. And he's, you know, told him the Lord was leading me to connect with him, you know, spiritually. He said, yeah, absolutely. Cool. We'll connect. So over the course of several conversations, he asked me if I was dating. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going it alone, man. And he said, well, Leon, he said, God's not going to waste you. He said, there is a woman out there that needs your covering. He said, I don't think it's God's purpose for you to walk it alone. I saw that. So he said, I don't think it's God's calling for you to walk it out alone. We're going to start, you know, praying for your wife. So I started praying for a wife in August. Now, she started praying for her husband in August. When I started praying for my wife in August, and I am not joking, like, I just started getting, like, you know, inboxes on Facebook, you know, what people are calling me on my government email. People are, hey, Captain Whitener, hey. I'm like, where are these women coming from? So
what works?
Yeah. What works on both ends.
Now, so you have to know what you're praying for. And like I say, you have to know what it looks like when it shows up. Because I was praying for a wife, not saying that these are bad people, but there will be people sent from another assignment that is not from God to distract you and pull you off of God's course. So because I knew what I was praying for, it didn't matter how attractive these women were. It didn't matter how much money they you know, what their careers looked like. None of that mattered. There had to be purpose in the kingdom of God attached to what they were saying. And, you know, I mean, they came with their best. I mean, nice skirts, you know, tight, low-cut blouses. I'm looking like, I already know this isn't going to work because that's not what I was looking for. So in that process, like I say, I didn't get caught up in that. Just, hey, how you doing? Lunch, cool, bye. Okay, cool, next. Okay, nope, that's not it either. And I remember the one young lady I shared the other night that I said, hey, so what you been doing with yourself? And she's like, oh, I've just been living life and kicking it. Okay, let me write that down. Living life and kicking it. All right, let me put a big X right there. That's not gonna work. That's out. But like I said, when I talked to Precious when we first met, one of the first questions I asked her, so what have you been doing with yourself? And everything she said, hey, I've been working on me, I've been doing some things, what she had said had value on it, it had purpose. It was not career oriented. When you ask somebody, what have you been doing with yourself? And the first thing they want to talk about is how much money they make or, what they do in their career. That's not telling you who they are. That's just telling you what they do. I want to know who you are. Who are you? Because I'm not dating your career. I'm dating you. I'm not looking to marry your career. I'm looking to marry you. So, I mean, when we look on a deeper level and we desire things on a deeper level, then we get that more secure commitment. And I've shared with her, and I'm going to share with you people out there. Like I say, there's a way to do things, and there's a way we do things. Because I did things God's way, I thought I was in love previously. I wasn't. I was forcing relationships, and I married trying to force a relationship. But now I can say that I truly love this woman. This is the first time I've really experienced love in my life.
Oh,
There's that. So, listeners, viewers, if he don't say that about you, that ain't it. If my soul, you said something Precious. You said my soul loves him, and I was like, oh, has my soul loved somebody?
What is that, Lydia? Lydia said that's deep.
But literally, I would say what you guys are saying takes it to a whole nother level. Of it's no longer surface. It's no longer even tertiary. Like, this is something that's ingrained. We talk about our lives and our journeys as trees and stuff like that. What you guys have, something that is planted, that has roots, that is not going to be torn or broken by anything else. You know what I'm saying? You got that three. That thing. You, him, and the Holy Spirit and Jesus. Twined into one. Ain't nobody breaking that up. I'm just saying. But again, it's like wanting to have something that is everlasting, that is unconditional, versus what is, this looks nice, or what you said earlier, forced, because that's what we are conditioned to do. Oh, he has a good job. Oh, she looks like this. You guys would do well together. You look good on paper together, right? But do we really look good spiritually together, internally?
Good. That's good.
So yes, well.
And Lydia, I'll share this. Being a man and leading men and mentoring men and leading recovery groups for men, I just have to give the women this. Unfortunately, the pool of men who are willing to walk it out and to really love is very limited.
Yes.
So we have to get to a place to where we are mentoring men, mentoring the young men, and raising our boys to become men who value women and will go counterculture. And like I said, we'll go counterculture and value women and honor women, as opposed to going the way culture does and objectifying them and using them as sexual conquest and, to get their swag on. I got this chick, I got a side chick. I mean, that's just not the way to go. It really isn't.
Absolutely. So glad you brought that up, because I was just about to ask you all, when you started your ministry, how do people reach you? How do these young boys become men? Can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Precious Smith. My business page is Precious Simone Inspires LLC. My Instagram is Precious Simone Inspires, and my website is precioussimone.com. All things Future Whitener have not come unfold. We don't have a website yet. We don't have all that yet. Y'all gotta let us get there. That's gonna come post marriage, but we are excited. We already have our ministry that is birthing. We already know the things that God wants us to do with each other as far as writing. I mean, it's a lot that is here that is stewing, that's churning. And so we're grateful for our process here now. But our process up to now is a story that's going to be told. And so we're excited. Y'all can find babes on.
I'm on Facebook. Leon Donnie Whitener on Facebook. Leon Whitener 3 on Twitter. Like I say, I'm a certified mental health coach with the American Association of Christian Counselors. So if there's any men out there that are really looking to, make the transformation from culture to counterculture, I'm here for you.
Come on, from culture to counterculture. I'm here for that. Send me all of those logos, everything, because we need to have. We need to see this. And I think we're in a season too, of just wanting to really find value and purpose with everything that's going on in our country. Everything that happened in 2020 is just like, what are we really doing out here? A lot of people are very unhappy in their current situations. And the thing is, it's like finding people that are actually living in their purpose, walking it out, doing it counterculture, to your point. So we are so glad. I'm so glad and so thrilled that you guys came and shared with us your dynamic story, your personalities. Thank you for being open, candid, and honest with us. And we hope you, our viewers, leave here feeling more full, more uplifted, and more edified.
Yes, absolutely. Peace. Peace.
Hey, friends.
Follow us on Facebook at A Candid Conversation Podcast.
Follow us on Instagram at _candid_conversation.
And for more information, email us at acandidconversationpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you. Be edified.